Hey, it's the Chief Bonnie with Board Games and RPGs, and I'm coming to you with a review of Distilled. A review of Distilled by worlds, combining my love of cardboard and my love of distilled spirits, mostly single malt, but also bourbons and ryes. But let's go in and take a look at the components while I enjoy something from Iron Root Republic. I believe this is their Apotheosis. Yes, Apotheosis. Okay, we're up over the table. We've got the basic market here, more on that in a bit. Much more specialized cards up here that you can purchase or hire employees. You've got 2-player boards, and I will zoom in on this little check sheet over here. It's a nice double-layered cardboard piece that allows you to see the recipes that you need to make for the different distilled spirits. I'll bring this on. You can see the cost of a bronze recipe is just 2 gold, a silver is 4, and a gold recipe is 6. And these will fit into these multi-layered boards. And once you have that cube, you can now create said recipe. You just need the items that are in there. Now you'll see you already have check marks for moonshine and vodka, so you can get up and start producing something to make money right away. And at the bottom, you'll have your signature item. Again, very nice dual layered card that will have your character signature item that's in there, and you'll get a lot of bonus points if you complete that. Again, quality is just top-notch because one of the things you can do is have different games that have different distilled spirits and changes up the game quite nicely. And it sits in such a nice way that it just feels seamless. Distilled, the game, is a premium product. The paper for the rule book has like a linen finish to it, a plasticized feel. Everything is colorful and well laid out. Right down to the custom trays, which are just up there. I don't think you can see them, but I'll throw photos in on the sides over here so that you can see them from the Trays company. Everything with this game feels deluxeified. But how does the game play? Well, it's actually really simple and straightforward. I'll explain it real quick. So each player is going to have their own little owner, which comes with a starting range of options and a signature recipe that they basically bring with them. So in the market phase, in turn order, you're going to take an action which will consist of purchasing 1 card or hiring an employee. So if you purchase from the basic market, you'll just buy 1. Yeast and water are free. They even come with some little bonuses that you'll get things when you'll be able to do special things when you get them. But some of the other items will cost a small fee. Now there is a caveat. You can purchase as many items or hire as many people from the upper markets here, but in this basic market, you're only going to be able to dip into that basic market twice. You'll buy 1 item, then it'll be the next player's turn, the next player, and then back to me, and I can come in and buy another basic item, or I could come in and hire a worker, or I could, again, get some other type of premium good. Now, I'll cut away here and I'll show multiple different items that are in each one of these markets so you get a feel for it. The art is very, very nice. However, the information that you need to glean from the cards is only given the lower quarter of the card. Just one little caveat, as you get older, it is hard to read and even see some of the symbols. But I'll cut away now and I'll show you these different cards that are in that market. All right, so let's look at some of the distillery upgrade cards. I'm just going to slide them in here. Again, you can see the nice look that's going on here. So we could have a column still, which comes with more control in the distillation. I won't talk about each card, but in this one, you can decide to only flip over or exclude the top card, the heads of your distillation. Tropical Warehouse, again, I'm not going to explain every single one of them. You've got a coffee still, slightly different. And then you've got a lot of different folks that would be helping you out through day-to-day operations. So we've got a trucker, we've got a tour guide, we've got a biochemist, and I'm just going to keep throwing these in here, a farmer, a glass blower, a master blender, a market buyer, a malting floor, so there's a guy in there that drags the malt around and turns it over, a coppersmith, an intern researcher, a private investor, good to get some extra money, a celebrity promoter, whoops, bumped the camera, an architect, a cooper, he's going to be making your barrels, a co-op manager, a warehouse manager. Then you get some cool stuff like a drone camera that allows you to pick any other card that's available that's out there, a metal rickhouse. I think it's a Doge ventilation, helps with flavoring, glassworks, greenhouse, a spirit safe, an orchard, a malt mill, and some large storage. There's a couple more cards I didn't get in there, but that gives you the feel for those items that would go into improving your warehouse. Now I'll walk through the items and the grains as well here so you can see what those look like. The card is nice. It's an attractive card. This little area up here tells you that it goes in that top row. And you do want to have nice pictures, but for gameplay, that's the stuff you need, that lower third or maybe that lower quarter. Young people, no problem. Old people like myself, problem. So for your ingredients, when you purchase them, I'm not going to show the basic market. The premium market, I'll just flip through the cards here, and when you do buy them, they'll be stored in your pantry. And again, you'll have wheat, and I will just point out that down here again is where in this case you're going to have the cost, some text on, a lot of times it's flavor text just telling you that wheat is very versatile, and then there's the victory points in the corner. The upper corner here is how much money or extra money it will make you if you get it through your distillation. Anise, corn, and there's some different types of corn. You've got millet, turbo yeast, more wheat, sugar cane, palm. Again, sometimes you're doing these different things for like gin or whatever. Sorghum, barley, my favorite. Grapes, agave, hello, looks cool too. Rice, potatoes. Don't forget, you're not just making whiskey, you're making all types of distilled spirits. Rye. Oh, my first love of the American whiskey was the rye. Figs, apples, some mountain spring water. Always good to have fresh water. And I might have already showed grapes and juniper berries. Woo! Now I'll come back and show you some different bottles you can get or barrels you can get, just so you can again see gorgeous, gorgeous to look at. All right, we're going to flip through. These items would go into the storeroom. So we have an American Standard barrel. We have an ex-bourbon hogshead, so it's had bourbon in it. It's been made a little bit larger than the standard barrel. I don't know how to say this, but a Kaveri barrel. So these are clay barrels. A pirate bottle. So there's a whole bonus phase for collecting different bottles. The more bottles you get, the more victory points. So it's like an option of things you can do that'll kind of separate you from the pack. Scandinavian bottle, etched crystal, decanter, the carton. You gotta love the carton bottle. Here's a Dolium barrel. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Rounded bottle. A half bottle. Faceted. Vintage decanter bottle. Little kitty cat. Ceramic. The canister. Frosted glass, don't know about that. Mason jar for the moonshine, you gotta have that. The wax sealed bottle and the red wax there. Hello, makers. Hello. The jug. We're back to moonshine. A stainless steel barrel. I've never actually picked that up. A plastic liter handle. You can just get a handle there. It actually will hurt you, I think, on victory points, if I remember right. This area here is where your owner sits, just to display. Any items that I've purchased from the market will sit in my storeroom, and I'm going to put this in my wash back in the very next phase, the distillation phase, which we'll go into in a moment. Every player will start with a metal barrel and some generic glassware. Anything that's aging will sit in your warehouse and will gain more flavor as you go. There's actually a flavor deck which will add in cards to that barrel. So you'll be storing and aging different types of spirits. You'll have all kinds of things available for you to bottle and barrel. You'll have goods and you'll have upgrades on items, stills, whatnot, and employees that will come in and make things easier. So we go to the distillation phase. So first of all, you can see there's a little bit of color right here, which says this is where your yeast is going to go. This is where your water cards are going to go. You might have more of those in there. And in this case, I've got two generic kind of grains, and I'm going to use that to produce my sugar. Depending on the amount of sugar producers I have, in this case 2, I will grab 2 alcohol cards and I will add them to that. I will then collect these cards up and I will give them a nice little random shuffle so I don't know what order they're in. The reason I'm shuffling is because when you distill your spirits, you have to get rid of the heads and the tails. Now I can get some better stills that will allow me to modify that, but the heads, the very first card, is going to be poisonous, but it can be reused. And the tails are taken out as well because they'll affect flavor. Now, for vodka, I needed at least 1 grain, 1 plant, or 1 fruit or berry in order to make the vodka. So if I had lost both of these, I wouldn't have been able to fulfill the recipe. Again, I'll take a shot of that and put it up in the corner. Now, the more difficult the recipe, the more you might be relying on the types of ingredients in order to complete it. And if you fall short because of the heads and the tails being removed randomly, you'll end up having to make vodka or moonshine. But I've successfully done this, so I would then add these cards to the barrel and to the bottles that I'm going to bottle it in, because you will see the amount of money I will make off of this distillation. I will then go get a vodka label. So I pick up a vodka label, and now I can put it in this part of my player board for either victory points, money, or some other type of items or thing that I would need. Each game you have randomly drawn spirit awards that will be pulled out that all the players are trying to hit the mark on to gain extra victory points. Again, that gives it a little bit of difference from game to game. And there's a nice little personal secret goal. Each player draws 3 of these cards. And what is it? I think it's at the end of the 3rd round you get rid of 1 of them. So you end up with 2 cards that hopefully you're dialing in on those victory points as well. Nobody else at the table knows what I'm going for on that. So hopefully I'm aging and selling off alcohol and hitting my secret goals and maybe racing to get the group goals. And it makes for a actually pretty rapid 7 rounds worth of playtime of collecting and distilling different kinds of spirits. But more on that in my final wrap-up. All right, I spent a little more time showing you all the bits and pieces inside the box just because it's such a pleasure to look at. Now, the only negative I have at all is my old eyes. So if you're older or you know you need your reading glasses, or I've got to pop mine up and get close. That text at the bottom of the cards, which is important, I wish it could have been a little bit bigger, just a little bigger. But again, 50, almost 53. So that could be totally me as the plane flies by. I will say, if someone's not been into board games, this will be a deeper dive for you. That's why that first taste is going to be helpful. If you enjoy the hobby of the spirits and how they're all made, not just whiskey like me, but all the spirits, there's a lot of fun there with, hey, what are the ingredients? And the rules state multiple times, hey, this is definitely a distillation game, but it's a game first, not a simulation of distillation. So there's game components, which sometimes there's even little notes like, hey, this is why we did this. We know it's more on the strategy game side rather than the real life distillation side, but they let you know it's a game first. So in the review, I'll break down the look. First, just the box itself. Gorgeous. Beautiful little, I forget what they call this kind of sticker. Everything on it nice and thick. Everything here is set up just visually for that shelf appeal. Components, 10 on the box. Sturdy, nice, great look, premium feel. Components, 10 again. The use of the trays inside. One thing I didn't show you, I pulled everything out so I could show you this, and it's still set up upstairs. The little card tray here, so that everything kind of sits and it sets up a little bit easier. You put the punched out boards behind here because that'll keep everything tight when you close it, and they tell you that in case you've never experienced putting something up on a shelf and having everything dump. That way it's nice and tight. But the use of the trays, it's a trademark. The trays are awesome. The nerddom in board games is similar to some of the nerddom you can get with yeast strains or different types of barley or whatnot. And trays that are in here are great. The products, the printing, the cards, the looks, everything here on this package of Distilled is a 10, both the box and the components. Top notch, you won't be disappointed. Ease of learning. So I've already told you, this rule book is perfect. Everything, the splash page, the layout, the walkthrough, all I needed. But if you're not used to 20-page rule books or whatever it is, this first taste that's going to walk you through the games with the exact pieces in front of you. All you got to do is lay them out, make it match the page, and then it will tell you, you're going to do this. Then you'll do this. Then the next player will do this. And as long as you've matched everything, it's walking you through exactly how a game runs. So, but ease of learning and layout. Probably, again, the only part that would pop in here would be some of that text is so small. I wish it would have been prioritized a little bit more on the cards. The cards are beautiful, but a little bit more space given to the actual text or the victory point conditions or whatever those things are that are on there so that it's a little easier to pick up. I feel like that was just made a little smaller to make the card look a little prettier. But I did give a 10 for components. So, gameplay. It rolls. It is, I actually was feeling like, even as I read the rules, it was going to be a little bit more difficult to play. No. So it's my round. I want a barrel. I need to get a barrel. There's maybe none out in this premium market, but I can buy this basic barrel for 4 coin. Boom. Paid for it. Now you go. It's back to me. I need yeast. Boom. It goes around. I need a recipe. I've got $4. I'll buy a brass recipe. Now I know I can make this. And your little recipe chart shows you what you need. What type of grain or sugar do you need? What recipe is required? It's all just right there. So you're just buying things. And as you get used to it, you're like, oh, I want to buy this X bourbon hogshead. Look at that little bonus. Look at the little bonus it gives me there. And you start just really getting that down. And of course, the only problem you'll ever have with that is you want more money because your eyes are big and you want to buy that better still, or that master blender, you want to hire them to come into your company, or you want this ingredient or that item. But that's part of the joy of this type of game is, oh, I know how to play, but now I really want to make X, and I want to get this particular barrel matched with that bottle, and I'm going to age it in my warehouse, and I'm going to get a bunch of cool flavors in it, and then I'll sell it for a lot of money. All that's in the game, and you go through that buy phase, you go through that distillation phase, which is cool with a little bit of a random element in it, and then boom, you're off and you're selling it. And how much money am I getting? Great, pop, boom. I got my label. What do I want from my bonus? I want that. And next round. And then you're like, what? There's only 7 rounds. I need more rounds. I want more rounds, because you're trying to build that engine and get things going. Gameplay was, I'm going to give it an 8. My wife, I think she enjoyed it even more than I. And an 8 is a very good score for me. I don't play as many card-based games. They're not quite my favorite. I love worker placement, but neither here nor there. I also like bidding on different things. That's not part of this game. So again, this is not a knock on it at all, but you're purchasing in randomized goods to then make different things to then optimize and either hit certain victory points or make enough money to do the next thing that maybe gets you your signature item, which will get you 20 victory points or whatever. And having those little engines roll, these little engines that build from the things you're buying and aging, and I need to sell the moonshine to get some money, because next time I'm buying that barrel, what? She just bought that barrel. Dang it, now I got to go with this cheaper barrel. And so that's the enjoyment as you're going to have playing at the table. And it goes around quick, because you're just doing that, buy an item. Next, she bought a recipe. Next, he hired that manager. Next, and so you're just turning around. Oh, pass. Okay, you can't come back after you pass. Distillation phase. What are you making? What are you bottling it in? What are you putting it in? What kind of barrel? Does it need to be aged? Nope. Yep. Whatever. And so the gameplay is a very solid 8. I'll admit I was a little bit nervous, because a lot of times you'll get a themed game. So here comes a whiskey game. It looks great. It was kickstarted with a lot of success. But Dave, I didn't know you. What kind of game is it going to be? And the production value is phenomenal. The gameplay, awesome. Well done. My other fear was that Liz, my wife, who loves games almost as much as I would not like the theme. Not only did she enjoy the theme, she told me leave it set up upstairs. That's why you didn't see it set up on the table down here when I filmed. And she won. Well done. Very fun game. I think this one's going to be around for a while. And there's an expansion out there I wasn't aware of. So I didn't back the Kickstarter again. This came as a review copy because we had Dave Beck on the show. And so he said, hey, I'll send you a copy. And I said, I would love it. This is my worlds combining. And I'm thrilled. On that side note, if you like Texas whiskey, or you don't even know that Texas whiskey is a thing, what? It is a huge thing. Luckily, we're only about 5 hours away from Iron Root, down in Denison, Texas. You go to Iron Root, the licorice family. It used to just be the brothers. Now it's Marcia and Dad. Sorry, I forgot your name. But you go there. This is some of the best whiskey in the country, the United States. They even won the Best Bourbon Award in 2020. Rough year, I know, but they did well. Great American whiskey coming out of these guys at Iron Root Republic. And go grab you Distilled. Woo! I got to try this. I nosed it. Now I got to try it. See you guys. I almost said scotch it, you Scotch gods. That's what happens on the whiskey side.